Before I started this project, I did a lot of research into media products and their conventions. I started off by analysing movie posters such as Olympus Has Fallen, Shutter Island, World War Z, and Man on a Ledge. In doing this, I was looking for the similarities and differences in them on their methods of conveying the thriller genre. What I found was that they used a lot of shadows and darkness, which created mystery and suspense with a little fear of the unknown, as you can't really tell what will actually happen. I then looked at the content of opening movie scenes. I broke these down into sections of setting, character, themes, props, narrative, and style, meaning camera technique and lighting. Looking at the style particularly helped me define genre conventions, as it allowed me to see how they use the camera purposely to capture the scene from an angle or perspective that would lead you to believe a set emotion. For example, in Olympus Has Fallen, you are watching two characters in a boxing ring. The tone is set by showing a lot of their feet, as you can see that they are just circling each other, and neither of them are particularly aggressive, which creates a friendly environment and leads you to believe that neither of them are hostile. I also found when looking at Olympus Has Fallen that simple things such as worsening of the weather conditions created tension. Then I looked more closely at specific scenes and questions such as how are women represented in the scene? How does the use of location and use of light and dark depict an emotional landscape of a character? And how is sound used to create suspense and other effects in the scene? By doing this, it allowed me to look more closely at the individual aspects of thriller conventions such as sound. I was then able to see how important these different parts were and the way people were represented, while also seeing how it was all conveyed. All of this helped me to become more familiar with the genre's conventions. I believed that I was fairly successful in conforming to thriller conventions. I tried to develop my own soundtrack and sound effects that were similar to those I had seen in other products. I also tried to convey and develop narratives and themes I had previously seen, while also setting them in a location typical to that of a thriller product. I believe I achieved this by working specifically on individual aspects such as genre, mise-en-scene, location, narrative, themes, and camera work and editing. When it came to making my own thriller, I decided to also work with a subgenre of horror, as this is conveyed by the use of a distorted nursery rhyme, as it takes away from the characters their innocence and adds to the fear and suspense, as the track takes away the natural order and expectations of nursery rhymes, which normally connote a sense of safety and security. In the scenes of my thriller that are filmed in the living room, the lighting is fairly dark. I also found this was true to real media products, and it was used to generate a sense of suspense and fear. I used close-up shots of key characters' faces to help draw attention to the importance of the character and what they were saying. Examples of this in Olympus Has Fallen and Body of Lies, where the use of close-ups allows us to know the importance of items and the specific characters. When I first started filming, I intended to film at a time of day that meant the lighting would be naturally low. This is because I wanted to create natural shadows that would add to the fear and isolation that I had previously found had been conveyed in media products. However, this didn't work out because it was far too dark, which disrupted the quality of the picture. So instead I filmed during daylight and used sound effects and a soundtrack that would create a greater sense of fear. Other media products that I looked at before I started my project were Cabin in the Woods, The Blair Witch Project, and Eden Lake. They all use the woods to convey entrapment, isolation and fear, which are a reoccurring theme. This research helped to influence my choice in location because I thought I could replicate this sense of fear, entrapment and isolation. I thought that I could use a wooded lake area near to my location that was both accessible and suitable to attempt to convey these recurring themes. From my research, I discovered that typical thriller narratives are of death, being watched, being followed, and being deceived. I believe my thriller conveys all of these, as in the beginning of my opening, you get the feeling that Charlie is being followed and watched. By the end of the opening, you are led to believe that the characters die, and there is also the possibility of deception developing later on by the father and his past. My previous research into the content of opening and other thriller products show me that typical themes of a thriller product are entrapment, isolation, family, responsibility, fear, protection, and the unknown. I found examples of these in Olympus Has Fallen. This made me want to develop a few specific themes such as isolation and entrapment, which are typical themes along with revenge. When creating my product, I tried to use a variety of shots, such as mid-shot, long shot, close-up, tracking and panning, because when I was researching media products, I found that a variety of these were used to help not only keep the attention of the audience, but also to convey a specific emotion or to create a certain atmosphere. Therefore, I tried to get a variety of shots. However, not all of these made it into the final edit, as perhaps due to lack of experience they didn't work out how I'd hoped, or simply had too much footage in them.